There are moments in life when everything seems steady, when the ground beneath our feet feels firm and unshakable. And then, without warning, the earth begins to tremble, the foundations crack, the life you thought was stable suddenly collapses. That is what a prophetic earthquake feels like, not just in the natural, but in your spirit, in your relationships, in your calling as a man. September 1, 2025 is not just another date on a calendar. It is a wake-up call. It is a reminder that the world you see around you can shift in an instant. For too long, many have been sleepwalking through life seeking validation, chasing after fleeting pleasures, distracting themselves from the emptiness within. But when the shaking comes, distractions will not save you. Approval from others will not protect you. Status, money, and temporary highs will not give you peace when the foundations fall apart. The shaking exposes what you've built your life upon. If it's sand, it crumbles. If it's stone, it endures. Young men, this is your warning and your invitation. To stop waiting, to stop drifting, to anchor yourself now before the quake hits. Because it's not just about surviving. It's about rising, becoming unshakable, and finding the strength and identity you've been missing when I say earthquake. I don't just mean the ground literally shaking. I mean those moments when life takes the rug out from under you. When the job you thought was secure suddenly disappears. When the girl you thought was your future walks out and never looks back. When the people you trusted prove they were never really for you, that's an earthquake. It's that gut punch moment when what you thought was solid, stable, reliable, crumbles. And here's the thing, most people wait for the earthquake to wake them up. They wait until the ground is already splitting beneath them to finally ask, what am I standing on? What have I built my life on? And I want you to hear me right now. September 1st isn't just a date. It's not about superstition. It's not about hype. It's about the reality that there will always be a shaking. Your life will be shaken. That's a guarantee. The question is, will you be ready, or will you collapse with everything else around you? Too many young men today are building their lives on things that cannot hold them. Validation from social media, approval from women, temporary escapes, porn, weed, alcohol, endless distractions. You think those things will numb the shaking, but the truth is, they just make it worse. They leave you hollow. Because when the quake comes, when the pressure hits, those things have no power to keep you standing. But there's good news in this. An earthquake doesn't just destroy. It reveals, it shows you where the cracks are. It exposes the weak foundations so you can rebuild, stronger, unshakable. That's why I call it a wake-up call. Because the shake is not meant to end you. It's meant to begin you, and maybe right now you're in the middle of your own quake. Maybe life feels like it's falling apart. Maybe you're losing relationships, or you're losing hope, or you're losing yourself. And you're tempted to think it's the end. But I want you to consider this. What if it's not the end at all? What if it's the beginning? What if this is the moment you were meant to wake up, to rise, to stop building your life on sand and start building it on something real, something unshakable? We live in a world where most men are starving for respect, but they don't even realize they're building their lives in a way that guarantees they'll never get it. Respect isn't handed to you because of how you look, or how much money you make, or how many followers you have. Respect is something deeper. It's about the way you carry yourself when nobody's watching. It's about who you are when the lights are off, when no one is clapping, when you don't get recognition. And here's the hard truth. Most men today are chasing approval instead of earning respect. You scroll, you compare, you post, hoping someone will validate you. You text her back too fast. You put her on a pedestal. You change who you are because you think it'll make her stay. But the reality, it does the opposite. Approval seeking repels respect, because respect is built when you stop needing someone else's validation to know who you are. This is where most of you are getting it backwards. You think if you find the right woman, the right job, the right group of friends, then finally you'll feel valuable. But it doesn't work like that. If you don't respect yourself first, nothing anyone else gives you will ever be enough. You'll always feel like you're one step behind, begging for scraps of affirmation. So let me challenge you, stop asking, what do they think of me? And start asking, what do I think of me? Am I living in a way that I respect? Because if you don't, nothing changes. Respect starts when you begin to draw boundaries, when you stop tolerating people who treat you like you're disposable, when you stop numbing yourself with cheap escapes, when you stop putting off your calling and start facing your responsibilities head on. And I know it's not easy, it feels uncomfortable, it feels lonely at times, because when you choose respect, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose those who only liked you when you were weak, when you were desperate, when you needed them. But you're also going to gain something so much greater strength, clarity, purpose. The truth is, men don't rise by chasing what's easy. They rise by standing firm, even when the ground is shaking, even when people walk away. Respect is not given. It is forged. And it starts right now with you deciding that you will stop begging for approval and start living in a way that earns your own. One of the greatest toxic habits destroying young men right now is comparison. And I need you to hear this. Comparison is not harmless. It's not just you scrolling on Instagram and thinking, wow, he's got a better body, or he's making more money, or he's with a prettier girl. It goes deeper than that. Comparison is poison because it rewires your brain to believe that who you are will never be enough. Think about how often you wake up, grab your phone, and within minutes you're already behind. You're behind the guy who's younger than you and driving a car you can't afford. You're behind the friend who seems happier in his relationship. You're behind strangers who are curating their best life online. And without even realizing it, you've already told yourself that you don't measure up. That's how comparison destroys your spirit. It convinces you to compete in a race you were never meant to run. Here's the reality. You don't even know what's going on behind those pictures and those posts. That guy flexing in the gym might be miserable when he goes home. That couple smiling for the camera might not even be talking once it's off. But your brain doesn't register that. It just tells you you're not enough. And once you start believing that, you stop living your own life. You live in someone else's shadow. Respect can't grow in comparison, because respect comes from authenticity, from owning who you are, what you're building, and what matters to you. Every time you compare, you abandon your own path and try to walk someone else's. And here's the problem. Even if you catch up to them, even if you win for a moment, it won't feel real. Because it wasn't your race to begin with. So how do you break this? You have to consciously pull yourself out of the cycle. You need to unfollow people who only trigger insecurity. You need to stop obsessing over what she's posting or what he's achieving and start asking, what do I want my life to look like? What do I respect in myself? What's my lane? Because when you get clear on your own race, you stop caring about who's ahead or behind. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, progress, and peace. The only way to win is to get out of the game entirely, build your own lane. Honor your own process. And trust me, the day you stop measuring yourself against the world starts respecting the man who finally stands tall in his own skin. Another toxic habit that destroys respect faster than anything is lack of discipline. And I want to be real with you. Discipline isn't just about waking up early, hitting the gym, or eating clean. Discipline is about proving to yourself that you can trust yourself, that when you say you'll do something, you follow through. Because without discipline, you live in a cycle of broken promises to yourself, and nothing erodes self-respect more than that. Think about it. How many times have you said, tomorrow I'll start, next week I'll change, or I'll quit this once things slow down? And then you don't follow through. In the moment, you shrug it off, but deep down, your brain remembers. Every time you flake on yourself, you teach your subconscious, my words don't matter, my goals don't matter, I can't be trusted. That's where shame grows, not because the world judges you, but because you know you've been betraying yourself. Discipline is freedom. Most people think it's a cage, that if you're disciplined, you lose fun, you lose spontaneity, you lose freedom. But it's the opposite. When you're disciplined, you're free from regret. You're free from the chaos of always reacting. You're free from the weight of unfinished goals and broken commitments. Discipline clears the path. It makes your future predictable because you know you'll show up. And here's the thing, no one respects a man who can't control himself. If you can't get out of bed, if you can't show up consistently, if you can't keep your word, people notice. They may not call you out, but they feel it, and they won't trust you. Respect is built on trust, and trust starts with you being able to govern your own life. Now, I know it's hard. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about stacking small wins until you can look in the mirror and say, I trust that guy. Start with one promise. Just one. Wake up at the time you said you would. Keep that commitment. Then stack another. Go to the gym when you said you would. Then another. Put your phone down and work for an hour without distractions. Each small victory builds a foundation of respect within yourself. And that foundation is what other people feel when they meet you. Lack of discipline makes you look weak. Discipline makes you magnetic. People don't respect potential. They respect results. And results come from showing up every single day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's where respect is born. Not in the big moments, but in the small, private victories that no one sees, yet everyone feels. Another toxic habit that silently kills respect is playing the victim. And let's be honest, you know when you're doing it. It's that voice that says, life's unfair, they don't get me. If only things were different, then I'd finally change. And I want you to hear me. People may sympathize with you when you play the victim, but they'll never respect you. Sympathy and respect are not the same thing. Respect comes when people see strength, and strength is forged in ownership. When you take responsibility, even for things that weren't your fault, you reclaim power. That breakup that crushed you, yes, it hurt. But if you stay stuck in blame, saying, she did this, she ruined that, you hand her your power. You hand your future to someone else's choices. Respect is born when you say, this happened, I didn't choose it, but I choose how I respond now. Here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not some mentor, not some girl who suddenly sees your worth. The longer you wait for someone to rescue you, the deeper you sink. Respect comes when you become the kind of man who saves himself. When you rise up, even shaking, even broken, and you say, I refuse to let this define me. And here's what happens when you stop playing the victim. You become unstoppable. Life stops being something that happens to you and starts being something you actively shape. People around you feel that shift. They see you owning your mistakes, your pain, your setbacks, and turning them into fuel. That's magnetic. That's respect. Because no woman, no boss, no friend, no brother wants to follow a man who makes excuses. They want to follow a man who takes responsibility. Even if he fails, even if he stumbles, even if he admits, yeah, that was on me. That kind of man is trustworthy. That kind of man earns respect, not because he's perfect, but because he refuses to run from the truth. I know it's hard. Taking ownership hurts. It means facing yourself without filters, without excuses. But it also means freedom, because the moment you stop blaming, you stop waiting, and the moment you stop waiting, you start moving. And that's where respect grows, when you're not just surviving your story. You're writing a new one. So stop saying, why me? And start asking, what now? Victims get sympathy, leaders earn respect. And you weren't made for sympathy. You were made to rise. The final toxic habit that destroys respect is living without discipline. Let's call it out, because every one of us has been there. You say you want change. You say you want respect. You say you want love, purpose, success. But when the alarm goes off at 6 a.m., you hit snooze. When the hard work shows up, you look for the shortcut. When the pressure builds, you escape into distraction, scrolling, gaming, drinking, whatever numbs the edge. And then you wonder why nothing shifts. Let me tell you the truth. People don't respect words. They respect actions. Respect isn't built on intentions. It's built on follow-through. Discipline is the bridge between what you say you want and what people actually see in you. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, why should anyone else believe in you? Respect starts inside. And if you can't respect your own boundaries, your own goals, your own vision, no one else will either. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about saying, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, but I'm still showing up. That's strength. That's power. That's the kind of thing people notice when they look at you and think, he's not just talking, he's living it. And let's be brutally honest, undisciplined men are easy to control. The world owns them, their cravings own them, their laziness owns them, but disciplined men, they're rare. They walk into a room, and you can feel it. They've fought battles within themselves, and they've won. And that's why people respect them. So if you want respect, stop asking, what's the secret? The secret is this: do what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it. Respect isn't given, it's recognized, and people recognize it when they see a man who has mastered himself. I'm not saying it's easy. In fact, I'll tell you right now, it's going to hurt. It's going to stretch you. You're going to feel alone. But you've got to ask yourself, do you want to be comfortable, or do you want to be respected? Because you can't have both. Comfort gives you mediocrity, discipline gives you respect, and that respect, it changes everything: how people see you, how women see you, how you see yourself. Discipline is the last piece of the puzzle. Without it, nothing else works. With it, everything else falls into place. So decide, will you keep living soft, or will you rise up and earn the respect you've been craving? Listen to me, this isn't just another video you scroll past. This is your life. You've heard the truth tonight. Toxic habits steal respect. Discipline creates it, and only you can decide which path you're going to walk. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you respect. You've got to take it back, day by day, choice by choice. And I'll be real with you. Most men won't. Most men will hear this, nod, and then go right back to their comfort, their distractions, their excuses. But you've got to be different. You've got to draw that line in the sand tonight and say, I refuse to keep living small. I refuse to keep breaking promises to myself. I will rise. Respect starts with one decision, yours. And I believe if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you is waking up. Don't silence it. Don't walk away from it. Feed it. Act on it. That's the spark that changes everything. Now, if this message hit you, if it shook you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, because it tells me you're ready to step up. Drop a comment below. Tell me which habit you're breaking tonight. Declare it out loud. Make it real. Share this video with another man who needs to hear it, because you never know. You could be the reason he turns his whole life around. And subscribe, because this is not the end of the journey. This is just the beginning. Every week, I'm going to bring you truth, raw and unfiltered, that pulls you out of the noise and points you toward the man you were created to be.